Okay, hello everyone. Sorry, my mic was muted there for a moment. I didn't realize that. Um, so, yeah, happy Friday, everyone. Best day of the week today. Uh, Let me see here. Quit complaining about the Court Center DLC. If you don't like it, play another game. Well, let me ask you, are you perfectly fine with the nerfs that they've done? You're fine with that? Because I have a right to complain about GTA. I put so many hours into the game, I paid for it. You know, I'm a consumer, so I have the right to talk about it if I want. The Courts DLC, the heist itself is fun. It is. It's a good heist, but the payouts are just terrible. The nerfs are just what really kills the DLC. They were talking about you today on Reddit, bro. What, where? What did they say? Yeah, Bounty Hunter is like 3 times rewards. I know that right now. The stealth is broken, yeah.
Morning, sir. Let's go. I got places to be.
I heard they removed the Doomsday Heist nerfs and claimed it was a bug. Yeah, I don't believe that though. Just discussing your video about Rockstar losing their mind. Something bad. Oh, what's the name of the post? No, I understand what you mean, Demigod. Okay, oh, this one. The career progress, yeah, it made me mad. It did. Will I do a stream of Black Ops 2? Eventually, yeah. Invite Brandon Pat. Oh, I can't. We're in the middle of a job. Right after it's over, I can invite him. Do you have outfits for Blue Shift and Half-Life 2? No, but I'll make them when I get to them. Did you like my Adrian Shepard outfit? Also, guys, I didn't expect those videos to go viral. I didn't. The 2 videos that I had like ranting about this DLC, they went viral. They did. Like I really did not expect them to get that much attention, but people I guess a lot of other people felt the same way I did. Thank you, Hamzat. Yeah, your rant videos are so good. Thank you, Minion Dave. How many views? Like, one of them has like 170,000 views, and the other one's about to approach 100,000 views. Oh, I think I just found the dude. Okay.
What the? I'll wriggle out of this. It ain't worth bleeding over. Oh, hell!
Did you guys like the SpongeBob meme I put at the beginning of it? Did you like that?
You signed your life away, you know.
A lot of the characters in Assassin's Creed Black Flag are real people, Adrian. Roberts is a real person.
You little
Thatch
prick.
Blackbeard was, Anne Bonnet was, Mary Reed was, Charles Vane was, Benjamin Hornigold was, Rogers was.
God damn it!
Is it the last update for GTA Online? I'm pretty sure it is. But it's kind of weird to have it as the last update. I just feel like something's incomplete on GTA Online. It just makes me feel
Hell,
weird.
Not again.
Feller gets some rest.
Yeah, your character shouldn't be so slow for the laser room. Valve's anti-piracy strategy works like this. If you buy their games, you get downloaded tons of mods for free from Steam and mod DB, such as Entropy and Zero 2. Wasn't Valve the company that said that that you can't stop piracy, or am I thinking of some another company? Thank you, Hamzat.
Hell.
By the way, have anybody here who has played the Court Center, have you guys encountered like glitchy AI, like the NPCs basically just detecting you through like walls and stuff? Has anyone else went through that besides me?
You signed your life away, you know.
I've been watching since 2019. This is my first donation to anyone ever.
Son of
I
a
enjoy you
bitch.
very much, Pro, and your content. What's your favorite kingdom in Bannerlord? Thank you, Admiral Raven. Thank you for the super chat. My favorite kingdom in Bannerlord is the Khuzaits. I like them because they're really good with their cavalry, like their horse archers, especially just conquering the map. But yeah, Khuzaits, I usually like playing as them. I also like playing as the Aserai a lot because the Aserai, they're great for trade. So like when you're trying to make money early on, they're a great civilization to play as. Hey Pat, this is OGR Recipe. I decided to change my YouTube name to my real name. Hope you're having a good day. Oh, okay. Hey Austin, I'll remember you. And I see you got an Apollo Justice avatar too. I hope they release another Ace Attorney game. I'm really down for another one.
Just my luck, it happened again.
Can I do a lore video on LA Noire? Watching you in 2K17. Thank you, FR1HN. I actually already did a lore video on LA Noire. It was like in 2024, but I did one. It was on Earl Schroeder. It was that. There was on one of the cases. I did a lore video on that one.
I'll wriggle
Did
out
you
of
see
this
that one?
when I do.
But yeah, I've gotten a lot of support recently, and I want to thank everybody for that. I have in like the last 2 days or the last 2 or 3 days, I gained 2,000 subscribers. I have not gained 2,000 subscribers in like 2 days in a very long time. So that was a lot of people came by to support the channel recently. I want to thank everybody for their support. It does mean a lot to me. It also means a lot to me that a lot of people value my opinion. I do really like that, and I appreciate that. Although Valve no longer makes games since 2022, they still have a fan games inspired by their engines, Gold,
God damn it.
SRC, and Source, such as Entropy 02. I don't know what that one are, but I do know the one that there's fans that remade Half-Life 1 though. I know that has that. Love your channel, bro. Been watching for years. Thank you. Well, Mr. Faber only appeared in that single cutscene, and that was it. I don't know what's going on with Mr. Faber.
Son- Of course.
Yes, they should, Zom.
Untie me now.
Oh, I could, Mario. Yes, Fallout 3 and New Vegas remasters. I'm excited for that too. I'm also excited for the Fallout 76 DLC. They're gonna make a map expansion next year for Fallout 76, and you're going to the Capital Wasteland. It's probably not gonna have the whole Capital Wasteland, but it's going to have Raven Rock, the area around Raven Rock, which is the area around Raven Rock is in Pennsylvania. It's actually not in Maryland. So I think we'll probably see, you know, early John Henry Eden too.
God damn it.
Okay, I'm gonna deliver him now here.
All aboard. Next stop, end of the line. Here. Don't be a stranger.
I bought Fight Night Champion. Oh, it's a great game. They're adding the Capital Wasteland 76 could be a teaser for the Fallout 3 remaster. Yeah, but I don't think they're going to add the entire Capital Wasteland because that's a massive map. So I don't think they'll add that to 76. And also, Fallout 76 takes place about, what, like, it's 175 years before Fallout 3, so the map would be different also. I think you should play some Valve fan-made games after Half-Life 2, such as Snowdrop, Escape Sweller, and Entropy 012 Uprising, and Black Mesa. The Mesa one I'll play, but what are the other ones? Can I play Assassin's Creed 3? I really wanted to play that on the anniversary of the American Revolution, but I didn't have time, and Black Flag was coming out. But I could do a playthrough of it eventually, Kevin. I'm still doing the playthrough of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I'm still playing that. The Getaway, yeah, I can play that too. I mean, Swelter, not Sweller. Oh, okay. Getaway, I'll play one day. Yes, I have Getaway. I think it's Black Sunday is the name of the game, or Black Monday. I have it. The PS2 game. Are you against replay glitches? What you mean, like the Doomsday Heist? Like the Act 2, people constantly doing that? I don't do money glitches myself, but at this point I don't necessarily even fault people for, or blame people for doing money glitches, because of how cheap and greedy Rockstar has been. Like, this is what basically encourages money glitches, so I don't do them myself, but I'm not gonna fault people for doing them at this point. Hello, Pat, do you think Ubisoft has potential? With Black Flag Resync they have. I also appreciate how they added new missions and new stories to Black Flag Resync, but I really hope that they make Assassin's Creed Rogue, because I really like to see Assassin's Creed Rogue remade on that engine. I really would. Assassin's Creed Rogue is my favorite one, so I'd like to see them remake that one. Thank you, Juan, for that super chat. Well, you know it's bad when Pro won't condemn money glitches. So it's not necessarily that I'm supporting them or I'm condemning them. I'm more like this neutral. I don't do money glitches, so I don't do them myself. I'll never do a money glitch. But it's like I'm not gonna fault people at this point for like doing them. Because of like what Rockstar has done with these nerfs, like how cheap they've been. You know, and I'm telling you, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. Because I work so hard on so many of my money guides. I work so hard on that. And then for Rockstar to just do nerfs like this, after I just worked so hard on some of these guides, I'm pissed. I'm mad. So that's, so what I'm gonna do is I'm still gonna make another money guide. Before GTA 6 comes out, I'm gonna make one final money guide on GTA 6. And I'm gonna do something like a legitimate way to make money that's gonna make a ton of people money, like millions of dollars in a day. I'm gonna do one. Like, to get around this crap, like what they've been doing with these stupid nerfs. And Trophy 02 is free on Steam if you own Half-Life 2. Okay. Well, thank you for telling me, Hamzat. I don't know if you used to watch movies when you were younger, but what was your reaction when they decided to stop making VHS movies? I mean, it was a huge part of my childhood. I remember always putting the cassette in. I also remember whenever you would rewind, like, the tapes, like, you would have, like, that, little black, like, you know, dotted line image that would, like, come up. Thank you, Jesus, for the super chat. Does anyone remember the Money Airport glitch from 2019? Yes, when people went, like, AFK in the hangars. Like, it was a Devin Weston hangar. I remember that, yeah. What comments, Harsh? Do I think Sony Pictures at fault for removing physical games, too? For what? Well, I don't... This GTA, you know, GTA thing that's happening, this we're talking about, like, the nerfs on GTA Online, but, Sony is being really cheap with, you know, removing physical, and, the fans are not letting, you know, Sony, get away with it. Like, if you just look at, you know, PlayStation's tweets, all of their tweets are just spammed with comments. Did I abuse Rooftop Rumble back then? Not really, but I remember when I constantly would get spammed invites for that. Like, I constantly would get invites from Rooftop Rumble. Harsh means happiness in Hindi? I didn't know that. Have I played Hearts of Iron 4? No, I haven't. Oh, Sony Pictures, the movie company. Didn't Sony like a couple weeks ago remove like hundreds of digital movies? Didn't they do that? The Soviet Union suffered three famines: 1919 to 1922, 1930 to 1933, and 1946, 1947. Do you think the Soviet government is responsible for this, or are they all natural? The first famine that happened was right after the revolution. Russia was destroyed basically by World War I and Civil War. But the second one that happened, the one that happened in the 1930s, the Soviet government is 100% responsible for that. There's no doubt about that. And Stalin was a complete moron. Like, he was a complete idiot. He did not know how farming works. I'll answer this in one moment here. Okay, so, to answer your question there, is... In Ukraine is where the famine happened the worst. The 1930s famine was called the Holodomor. When it happened, millions of people died. We still don't know how many people died exactly, because the Soviets didn't really keep records of that, but we know millions died. But anyways, about that, there was these group of farmers that lived in Soviet Ukraine, and the farmers, they were called the kulaks by the Soviet government. And basically, the Soviet government called them, like, elitist rich farmers. But in reality, the kulaks weren't, like, rich people. They were just farmers that were a little bit better off, had a little bit more land. But they weren't, like, rich elitists. And what happened was Stalin tried to forcibly collectivize the farms in Soviet Ukraine. Now, Lenin didn't do that. Lenin allowed people to have private farms. But when Stalin came in, Stalin basically collectivized everything, took everything over, all the land. And what ended up happening was the farmers were told in Ukraine, surrender like 70% of your crops to the Soviet government. And the farmers basically said, no, we work this land, we work hard on this farm, we sweat on this land. This is our product, ours. And the Soviet government tried to take it from them. And what ended up happening was the kulaks, a lot of them weren't able to make a living. Their farms collapsed. The grain got out of control, and it caused a massive famine in Ukraine. It was the Holodomor. Millions of people ended up dying in that. Stalin, actually, what he did was he purposely kept food from communities that he believed were food hoarding. So he accused the kulaks of food hoarding, when in reality that was their food. They grew it, they made it, it was their food. They weren't hoarding, it was their food. And Stalin had cut those communities off and intentionally starved them out. He did that. And a lot of people died. A lot of kids also starved to death. It was really bad. There's pictures that you can see in the Soviet Union during that time where people are like dead in the middle of the streets in Ukraine. They're like completely skinny. They're dead from, no food, complete hunger. It was absolutely terrible. And what ended up happening is when a couple years after that, the Soviet government was doing a census in that area. And they were doing a census to basically find out, what the population is of, Ukraine. What happened was, because millions of people died, they weren't recorded on the census. So what happened is, when the census people came into Soviet Ukraine, they realized there's millions of people missing. And what they did was they went to Stalin, and they told Stalin there's some kind of error, there's something wrong, because millions of people are less on this census than was a couple years ago. You know how Stalin responded to that? He had the people that did the census shot. That's how Stalin responded to that. So, like, that's the type of person that Stalin was. It was, was Ukraine the only country affected by the 1930s Soviet famine? No. It spread into Russia and Belarus, too. But Ukraine was the hardest hit by it. I have a question. What is the hardest part in the mission Heart of the Reich in World at War? It's like the beginning part when you're trying to destroy the Flak 88s, and they're constantly throwing grenades at you. That part. Stalin also got his son killed and had the chance to save him, but then that is true. Stalin didn't bother saving his son when his son got captured by the Nazis.
Oh, shit!
In Russia, a guy found a fetus in McDonald's. What? Thank you, Kevin, for the super chat. What? Hope you're well. Have you ever played Max Payne? Yeah, I did a playthrough of Max Payne 1, 2, and 3 on the channel.
Shit, I ain't got time for that.
Out of every German World War II infantry weapons, which one is your favorite? Probably the MP40. How simple it was, lightweight, very little recoil.
What the hell?
Do you guys know if you do the court center heist, if you get caught and you restart, the guards still know where you are? Yes. Yeah, I know about that. I have a video coming out with tips and tricks on that DLC, and that's going to be part of it.
You all pay for this?
Did I watch Young Washington? No. I want to go next week to see it. I do really want to see it. I just haven't had time, especially with this update.
You ugly cop.
I'll eventually do other Assassin's Creed games, but when I finish Black Flag and take a little break from it, I'm gonna focus on the Ace Combat series when I finish Black Flag Resynced. I think the Metal Gear Solid collection is also coming out next month. I could probably do a playthrough of that as well.
Criminals are outlaw. Put him in the cell and let him sweat. Whatever it said on the poster, it's all right there for you.
How's the air where you are? Right now it's better. Last night it was really bad.
What's wrong with you?
Ace Combat 4 that I'll do, Adrian. Let me actually go to my Moonshine business. I want to check that out here. What's up with the air? It's because of fires in Canada. Yo, Pro, I was wondering if I could join your grinding crew in GTA Online, if you still have it, and how to join it. Hey, Barry, we don't really use the crews anymore because we've had issues with them where, there was griefers that would join the crew, they would hide their names, and so we couldn't see what their PSN was, and then there was griefers that would use a leaderboard exploit to just join our sessions constantly. But I will say, the thing I'll say about that is that we don't really use the crews anymore. However, though, when GTA 6 comes out, I'll make a whole brand new crew when GTA 6 comes out, and we'll restart it. We'll make a good new crew. I just hope that when GTA 6 comes out, that the crews, that like the social club is actually decent. I just really hope that.
This will be a little out of the ordinary.
Why is the MG34 more expensive than the MG42? I think it's because the MG42 has a swappable barrel. I think that made it cheaper. Thank you, Jolly. What jacket is that? What, do you mean what I'm wearing in real life, or do you mean what I'm wearing in the game? Why did you refer to Daniel Morgan as a resistance fighter? Wasn't he a colonel in the Continental Army? He was both. He was a, have you ever seen the movie The Patriot? It's basically what he did in that movie. That's what he did. He was essentially a resistance fighter. I mean, you could be a resistance fighter and you could still be a colonel. So, like, a resistance fighter is somebody who fights, like, deep behind enemy lines, usually in their own country. That's what essentially a resistance fighter is. You know, there was Americans that were, like, that escaped from the Japanese when they overran, like, the Philippines, and they fought with, like, the Filipino resistance in World War II for, like, and they stayed there for, like, 3 years until the Americans took back the Philippines. So, like, they were technically resistance fighters, too. So, like, I mean, Daniel Morgan stayed behind in, British lines and harassed them, essentially. He was, you know, part of a militia. Have I ever fired those old German MGs in real life? No, I haven't. In the game, I've never seen that. Oh, I can check it. Give me a moment. Something horrific in 1920s. A boy in Ukraine ate his brother during the 1920s Soviet famine. I'm not joking. Oh my god. Horrible. Horrible. Do you think that Stede Bonnet owned slaves at one point since he was running a plantation in Barbados? About that, we don't really know. There has never been direct proof, really, that he was a slave owner. However, though, he was very rich, he was very wealthy, and he owned a very large plantation. And in that time period, if you were rich and wealthy and you owned a large plantation, you almost always had slaves. So chances are he probably had slaves. We don't know how many, if any. We don't know, you know, we don't know a lot of that. You know, Stede Bonnet in history is generally not portrayed as a, you know, an evil person. You know, he was portrayed generally as, you know, somebody that was looking for adventure in his life. He felt like there was something missing in his life, and he became a pirate, and he ended up dying. But the thing about it is that what makes Stede Bonnet really weird is that all the other pirates, they came from, you know, very poor backgrounds. A lot of pirates didn't actually know how to read or write. But Stede Bonnet was actually very well educated. He was a very rich man. And so the whole reason that he became a pirate was because he was bored of his life and he wanted adventure. He wanted to do something different. That's, he liked that, generally. No, I haven't seen that movie, Brandon. How do you feel about England's performance in the World Cup against Argentina? I think they tried their best. You know, it was a close match too. You know, I'll tell you, England did way better than, you know, what we did in America. And look, here's the thing is the one team that I was generally, like, really pissed off at during the World Cup is I was pissed off at the American team. I was. And I was kind of mad at the American team because the American team, we did pretty good early on in the World Cup. We did. We beat Australia. We beat Australia 2-0. We beat, who was it? We beat Australia 2-0. We beat Bosnia. We beat Bosnia, but I don't remember the score for Bosnia. So we weren't doing that bad. But then what happened is, when we had that match against Turkey, like that match where they played against Turkey, something just felt off about the American team. Like, I was like, you know, I just felt like they were slacking. I didn't feel like they were giving it everything. And then what happened was that game with Belgium, it was a disgrace. That's what that was. Like, I don't know, like, I don't know what... Oh, it was Paraguay also. Yeah, they beat Paraguay, Bosnia, and Australia. And then they struggled against Turkey. And Turkey ended up beating them. And then, that game against Belgium, like, I don't know what they were doing. I don't know, like, how can the American team go from dominating in so many games to just sucking all of a sudden? I don't know what happened. I don't know how the American team just started doing so poorly. And they're like, I was pissed. Like, I was watching that game with my dad when that was happening. I was mad. I was annoyed. I was like, you know, what are these guys doing? Like, I was like, you know, that. And look, it's not that I can't take a loss. I can. You know, if the Belgian team is better, you know, so be it. But it was just the way the American team was playing that just really pissed me off. Like, I don't know what they were doing. Like, does anyone agree with me on that? That, like, the American team had no idea what they were doing when they were playing against Belgium? It's like they weren't even trying. I don't know, like, what happened in that game. And then I remember the goalie, he left the goal, and then the guy got past him. Like, it was just so embarrassing. It was such a bad game. It was so terrible. And then the last 2 minutes, Belgium shot again. It was terrible. It was terrible. So, I mean, does anyone agree with me that the American team just, like, it's like they didn't know what they were doing? Like, I don't know. Like, it's like it kind of hurts me. It kind of hurts me trash talking my own, you know, team like this. But it's like I watched that game and I'm just, what are they doing? I'm just wondering on that. I remember the American coach, he got so mad during the game that I saw a clip of him where he kicked a bunch of water bottles down. Like, that was live during the game, too. Like, he was pissed.
Stay alive.
Why do I keep dropping the guy?
I'll get you for this. God damn it.
Let me see, I missed a bunch of comments here. Hey, Pro, before I go, I have a few questions. Have I ever played Sleeping Dogs? Yes, I did an entire playthrough of it. It's a great game. And number 2, in Black Ops 1, why is Dragovich working with the Viet Cong? Because he wanted to use Nova 6 in Vietnam. That was the primary reason for it. He was going to test Nova 6 in Vietnam. I mean, that's what the plane had. It was carrying canisters of it. Thank you, FR1HN. If the Soviets didn't get attacked by the Nazis, do you think the Allies would have feuded way earlier with how they treated Poland and other countries? I will tell you this, is that Japan was gonna lose World War II. Even if Germany might not have lost World War II, but Japan definitely was going to lose World War II always. Here's what happened is that, and I'll read the other comments in a moment, guys. I just gotta answer Jolly's question. It's gonna be a couple of minutes of me explaining this. Here's the thing is, the Japanese made the exact same mistake that the Germans made when they invaded the Soviet Union. But the Japanese's mistake was China. And here's what happened.
You cut these ropes, you hear?
The Japanese defeated China in a series of wars. There was like 3 Sino-Japanese wars, or Sino-Japanese wars. And what happened is, when Japan forced their way into Manchuria, they did like a false flag attack claiming that the Chinese had attacked them when they hadn't. I think that was in 1931, or when that happened. It was like, and then Japan ended up taking all of Manchuria. Like, they took over Manchuria. And China basically just gave up. They gave up on Manchuria. What happened is, in 1937, Japan claimed another false flag attack, and they invaded the rest of China. Now, Japan at that was hoping that the exact same thing would happen. They thought that China would fold, like they did with Manchuria, and they thought that, that the whole thing would basically collapse, and that the Chinese would give them more land, and they didn't want to keep fighting. But what happened was Chiang Kai-shek, he was the nationalist leader of China. He basically put his foot down, and he said, no more. It's like, we're not going to be bullied by the Japanese anymore. We're fighting till the end. That was what Chiang Kai-shek was like. And the Japanese hated him, and they were desperately trying to get rid of Chiang Kai-shek. So Chiang Kai-shek put his foot down and said, we're not going to be bullied by the Japanese. We're not going to tolerate the Japanese invading our country anymore. And it basically trapped Japan into like an endless war in China. Like, Japan did not have the resources to conquer all of China, and they were just trapped in an endless war. And Japan could not pull out of China Because if they pulled out of China, that would be embarrassing. It would make them look like they lost, like they didn't gain anything from that war. But if they stayed there, they would keep wasting more resources and more soldiers would die. And the Japanese got so desperate in China that what they started doing is they started committing like mass atrocities against the Chinese, just doing genocides against them, just massacring cities, killing all the civilians, even using chemical weapons against them. Like the Japanese just had no mercy in China. Like they were so brutal. So Japan was going to lose that war. It was for them, Japan was going to lose the war against China. It was only a matter of time. And then what happened was when Japan attacked the U.S., that was the stupidest thing that they did, when Japan attacked the U.S. And then when the U.S. got involved in the war, it was over. Japan was done at that point. They were screwed. They were pretty much over. Japan had no chance of winning. It was over at that point. And also, the thing about the Japanese is that the Japanese believed the exact same thing would happen to the Americans. They thought that if they destroyed America's naval power at Pearl Harbor, that the Americans would negotiate with the Japanese and they wouldn't want to keep fighting. But it backfired because all it did was it made the Americans even more furious. And also, to answer the other part of your question, there is no scenario in which Germany would not have invaded the Soviet Union. Germany was always going to attack the Soviet Union no matter what. Like, people always say, what if Germany never attacked the Soviet Union? Germany was always going to attack the Soviet Union. There's never a scenario where they weren't. Where they never considered doing that. It was Hitler's plan from the start. Hitler's plan from the start, ever since, even when he came to power as chancellor in 1933, before he was dictator, he planned on invading the Soviet Union, even that far back. Like, it was always his plan. It was always from day one. It was always his plan. Hitler was obsessed with taking over the Soviet Union. Hitler despised Bolshevism, which is the form of communism that is in the Soviet Union. He wanted to destroy it, and he wanted to conquer the Soviet Union, and what he wanted to do is he wanted to colonize the Soviet Union in Eastern Europe. So, like, Poland, Ukraine, Belarus, Russia. He was going to colonize that land, and he was basically going to settle Germans on the land. The Germans were going to farm the land, and all the Slavs that lived on the land, the native peoples, they were going to basically be butchered, killed, enslaved, and the rest were going to be deported past the Urals. So for Hitler, that was his entire ideology, his entire viewpoint, is he wanted to conquer Eastern Europe. That was always his view. So the only way that Germany would not have attacked the Soviet Union is if Hitler was not in power. That was the only way it wouldn't have. So there is no alternate situation where, Germany would never have attacked the Soviet Union, because that was always Hitler's plan from the start. He was always going to do it, no matter what. Let me see here. Missed a bunch of comments here. Hey, Pro, my request to teach young indigenous audiences their rightfully language have been strictly denied. What should I do? What, you mean like at schools and stuff? I would go to the media, or maybe talk about it online, bring more attention to it. There's probably media that would probably love to run your story, talking about that, because, I will tell you something, is, the way that I see it, is that I think that, Native American languages should be taught in schools. Like, I know you're in Canada, but, like, in my country, America, I think that, like, Native American languages should be offered as, like, a course. So, like, when you have, the option of learning, German, French, or Spanish in, like, American schools, why don't they teach, like, Native American languages? Why don't they teach that? They could put that in, like, Navajo, I think the other one's Lakota. Why can't they add those as, like, language courses in schools? Because they're American languages, and I think that those languages should be preserved because they're part of American culture. They're part of American history. And it's really sad when less and less people are actually speaking the languages, like, every day. So it's really sad. So I would support, like, programs in schools to, like, preserve the language and, like, teach, the language. It doesn't even need to be taught. It doesn't even need to be taught just to indigenous peoples. It can be taught to anyone. So anyone can, take it if they want as a course. Let me see. Why does South Korea hate Japan so much? Because Japan has never fully apologized for the atrocities that they've committed against Korea, and Japan has also not paid reparations to a lot of victims that are still alive to this day.
Just a short drive. Watch over me, Santa Maria. There.
It seemed like Slovakia was a communist country in Ace Combat 6, Gunner. Let's see here. And there is one question somebody wanted to ask me here. Hold on. Well, look, about how the US played in the World Cup is, I get it, the European teams are better, Mario, but it was just, like, if you just saw how the Americans played, it's like they weren't even trying when they were playing against the Belgians. Like, they weren't even trying. Yes, I'll do a Vice City Stories playthrough on the 20th anniversary. Can't believe Penguin Zero got the Trump phone before GTA 6. Wait, what are you talking about? Yes, guys, it's real. Thank you, Blinded Eagle, for the super chat. Seen drama series Peaky Blinders. I know it's like a show about like the British organized crime like over 100 years ago, so I know the show, but I haven't ever fully watched it. No, Aaron. Yes, the comfort women were basically women that Japan had kidnapped from a lot of countries like Korea and China, and had basically taken them as sex slaves during World War II. That is true. Japan did some gruesome, horrible things during the war. Uh... Okay. There was one comment that I was trying to read earlier. I think I missed it here. Oh, and from Admiral Raven. Hey, Pro, what do you think is the most annoying troop to fight against in Bannerlord, excluding horse archers? The most annoying soldier? Okay. So, what I will tell you is, I never found, like, a single enemy to be the most annoying. However, though, I can tell you what I find the most annoying thing to be. Do you know what the most annoying thing in Bannerlord is? Like, the thing that really pissed me off, that I never liked? It was basically the conspiracy quest. If anybody's played Bannerlord, you know what I'm talking about with the conspiracy quest. You probably do also, Admiral Raven. But basically, when you put the banner together, and then it's that Imperial woman, or that the Imperial woman or that Batanian guy, and like they constantly like create like conspiracies against you, and like you have to go across the map and like stop these conspiracies, like stop these conspiracy convoys, and if the conspiracy builds up enough, you have like multiple countries, you know, declaring war on you, and it gets so annoying because you have to constantly keep destroying the conspiracy wagons, and like sometimes they're super far across the map, and you gotta go across the map, destroy the conspiracy wagon, and then what happens is when you're in the middle of a war, and you can't even leave your cities alone, or your cities are gonna get conquered, and then a conspiracy wagon shows up, and you gotta go over across the map and deal with it. And the crazy thing is, when I was playing Bannerlord, that Imperial woman who does all the conspiracies, she was like 90 years old in the game. So like she aged, because in the game characters age, she aged to like 90 something years old, and she was still doing all that conspiracy garbage against me. Like she was sending like so many guys to kill me, and it was like really pissing me off. Like I wish that I wish the game would just give you an option to just go over and just kill them, just so that the conspiracies just stop. Because it was so annoying. It's like the most annoying quest in Bannerlord, constantly having to deal with that every couple minutes. Like there's a new conspiracy pops up. Like it was so frustrating. I never liked that. You need to play Watch Dogs 2. I remember when I beat it shortly after it came out. It's very similar to GTA 5 and has an incredible story. Yeah, I'm down to play it. I know people have requested I play it for some time too. So yeah, I'm down to play it. It'll be a fun playthrough to do. It'll be the first time doing it on the channel too. Thank you, Android. Thank you, Sam Lawson. Hey, Reginald, it's been a while. I've seen your channel has expanded other content more than anyone who I know. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Sam Lawson. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks, dude. Yeah, I've been trying to expand to other games, doing other content.
What is... Hey, what the...
Why are you taking this out on me?
Have or will you play Resident Evil games like, I've played, Resident Evil 5. I've played Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, but it's been some time. But I'm always open to playing them, yeah. No, I haven't seen Season 4 and 5, The Boar Shed of Fargo. I'm gonna watch them, though.
What is wrong with you?
Have you gotten the call from Mr. Faber? Yes, I have. Pro, are you Jewish? No, I am an agnostic. Would I survive, Stalingrad? Probably not. Probably in either the German or the Soviet army, no. You know something, I read a horrible story about the Battle of Stalingrad once, where, there was a, the only thing I can't remember is I can't remember whether they were Romanian troops or Italian troops. They were either Romanians or Italians, so I just can't remember which one they were. But what happened was, when the Germans were running out of supplies, and they were getting really desperate in Stalingrad, do you know what they did? They held up their own allies at gunpoint, the Romanians or the Italians, and they robbed them of their trucks. And they took their trucks and just left them there in the freezing cold to die. So just imagine that, like, that's like just imagine, like, being an Italian soldier at Stalingrad, and, like, your allies, the Germans, just rob you, take all your supplies, your trucks, and just leave you there to freeze to death. Like, that is how the Germans treated their allies. That is it. So, like, that stuff like that. Can I answer General Alert's question? Pro, in Half-Life 1, did you know that those headcrab victims, the zombies, are not actually alive but are still conscious? Yes, I know that, yeah. I discovered you in 2021. Thanks for watching me that, for so long, man. What horse am I riding? The Black Arabian horse. Can you tell me again, OGBWE member? I'm sorry. Just post your comment again. Tell me what happened. If you buy Ace Combat 8 at any time after it came out, will I still get Ace Combat 0 ported version, or that's only a pre-order? It's only a pre-order, What people are probably gonna do is they're probably gonna sell the codes for Ace Combat: The Belkan War online. But it's gonna be rare because Ace Combat 5, you cannot get that game on the PlayStation Store. So like if you have that game, you can't get it anymore. I have it because I pre-ordered Ace Combat 7. So like if you want to get Ace Combat 0, you gotta pre-order like Ace Combat 8. Thank you, Minion Dave, for the super chat. Did you hear that Congress is passing a bill to have daylight savings time permanent? I'm perfectly fine with that. I hate this daylight savings crap. I don't like it. If they got rid of it, I'd be perfectly fine with that. But here's the thing, dude. Nothing is gonna happen. Nothing is gonna happen. Every single couple of years, they talk about abolishing daylight savings time. They talked about it last year, too. Nothing came out of it. Nothing. Like, nothing ever gets done. I have no faith. I have no faith in politicians. No faith in the government. The government are a bunch of incompetent idiots. That's essentially what they are. Like, literally is, we could have a bunch of elementary school kids running the government better than the people that we have in charge right now. So like I have no faith in the government. So like literally just and it's not just one party, it's politicians from all sides. I just hate all of them. I don't like any politicians. So it's like I just can't stand politicians in general. So literally I have no faith in the government. So like literally the daylight savings time, I don't think nothing's gonna happen, honestly. No, I didn't know that, Hamzat. Do you think America should be a multi-party system? Yeah. I think maybe ranked choice voting might be better. I know Alaska, I think, is the only state in America that does that. So, like I like Alaska's system pretty well, how they do their elections. How did daylight savings come to be, dear historian? Daylight savings time was, like, created for farmers. So I think that farmers would have, like, longer days in the summertime, to manage their crops and stuff like that. I think that's what the whole purpose of it was. Can you provide me a beginner's guide for Red Dead Redemption 2 online, please? Sure. Give me 1 second. I already made a video on it. I'll link you it right now. Hold on. Yeah, it's 2019. Wow, it's pretty old, my guide, but it still works. Here we go. Let me put this in chat for you. Okay, I pinned it. That's my Red Dead Redemption 2 ultimate ultimate beginner's guide if you want to check it out. Napalm bombs and Agent Orange gas are way worse. Agent Orange was a war crime. It was. You know, Agent Orange was one of the worst things the U.S. did in Vietnam. Like, that was terrible. There's people to this day that are still sick from that stuff. Thank you, Jolly. What advice and tips would you give to the youth, Pro? I would say my biggest advice to the youth, I would say, is to do what you want to do, not what others tell you what to do. Don't, like, feel that you need to fulfill someone's expectations or something like that, or pressured to do something, or follow some path in life that you don't want to follow. Because I see this, like, so much where, like, young people are always pressured to, you know, be somebody, like, that they don't want to be. Like, you know, parents and, like, society are pressuring them, like, oh, you know, be a doctor, you know, be a lawyer and stuff like that, when they might not necessarily want to do that. Or they even, you know, pressure them to go to college. I remember when I was a kid, like, schools would constantly pressure you to go to college. And, like, even other kids would even mock you if you said you weren't going to college. Like, they would make fun of you if you weren't going to college. Like, there was this one kid who I remember kept telling me that if I don't go to college, I'm gonna be a failure, and he's like, that's not a plan, not going to college. Like, he just kept saying that to me in high school. So, like, I would say is that, like, don't listen to, you know, others, don't listen to that, always do what you want to do. Don't don't feel pressured by society that you have to, subject yourself to whatever they want and stuff. That's ultimately what I would say about that. How many games do you think you could play through before GTA 6? I think I could probably get 10 or more playthroughs done before GTA 6 comes out. I heard one of my coworkers talk a lot of crap about us, even me, behind our backs, and even about our boss. What would you do if you were in my position? Truth, honestly, I probably wouldn't do anything. Blinded Eagle. I probably wouldn't do anything. The only time I would actually get involved in something like that, like workplace drama, is if it is affecting your job. So, like, if it gets to the point where it's, like, affecting your job, like, you can't, they're openly talking crap to you while you're trying to do work, or, like, they're making stuff up about you that's false, and they are, like, and then your manager is getting pissed off at you over, like, false allegations and stuff like that, that's the point when you want to get involved. But, like, when they're just talking trash about you behind your back, screw them, ignore them. And I'm not necessarily saying for you to gossip, but if they're talking trash about you behind your back, that gives you grounds to talk trash about them behind their back, because they started it. That pretty much does. So, like, they can't complain if you talking trash about them behind their backs, they're doing it to you. So, like, that's what I would say about that, ultimately. I remember my supervisor once told me in retail that, like, I was, like, the only person that didn't talk trash about other people here. Like, I think that's what my supervisor said to me once. I remember he came in the break room, he said something along those lines. He's like, I've never heard you say something bad about somebody else. And I told him, there's people I don't like here. But I don't really, talk about it too much, because I don't want to start drama, and I don't, I generally mind my own business. I will tell you something. There was this one supervisor that I had that I really didn't, like her too much. Like, she was pretty annoying. She was pretty rude to me. There was this supervisor that I had, and I remember that this happened around, like, 2018. Like, around 2018. It was around there. It was like March 2018, April 2018 when this happened. It was like right around Easter time. So my mom, I'm not a religious person myself, but my mom really wanted me to go to church with her on Easter, and I wanted to keep my mom happy, so I decided to, promised her that I would go to church with her, and we were gonna go. I think it was the day before Easter that we were planning on going. Not right on the dot on Easter. I think it was the day before for, like, a mass. And what happened is I got really pissed off at my coworkers and my boss specifically, because what happened is every single time people would call out, like, people would not show up to work, I covered for them. Like, people would constantly tell me, oh, Pat, can you cover for me? I can't come into work. I would always cover for them. And I covered so many shifts. I probably, like, because this was in 2018, and I started working in, like, September of 2013, so it was, like, 4.5 years that I was working there. And in those 4.5 years that I was working there since that time, I had probably covered 50 or more shifts. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. 50 or more people that I've covered, because people are not showing up to work, not coming in. And what happened is I told my boss, like, a month beforehand, I cannot work on this day. And I told him, like, can you please find somebody to cover for me? And my boss was basically like, oh, you have to find somebody to cover for you. That's what my boss told me. That's not on me. And I got really pissed off about that, because if you treat everybody the same, okay. But the thing is, when other people wouldn't show up to work, he never punished them. And instead, he would always find somebody else to come into work for them. He would call me or call other people up. Like, he would find other people to cover other people's shifts who weren't coming into work. And then when I asked him, he's like, no, you gotta find somebody to cover your shift. I'm not gonna do that for you. Like, so I was pretty annoyed by that. Like, I felt like there was a massive double standard. And so I ended up working on that day that I was supposed to. So, like, for a month, like, I asked all my coworkers, who had covered for me. Nobody could cover for me. Nobody could. And that made me so mad, because I realized so many people had taken advantage of me, that I'd helped so many people out, and that this one favor that I needed, like, nobody could give it to me. So that day I was working, what happens is, the store was essentially dead. Like, there was nobody in the store. Like, it was virtually empty. I finished all my tasks. I finished all my cleaning, everything. All the list that I was given, everything that I had done, I'd finished it. And I told my supervisor, and I know I texted my manager at first. I told my manager, the store is dead. Can I leave? Can I go? You know, because I could still, you know, make it with my mom, you know, to make it to mass. And my manager texted me. He's like, you gotta talk to the supervisor about that. So I talked to the supervisor about that, and I told her, you know, basically what, can I, you know, please go? I'm gonna go, you know, to mass with my mom. I finished all my tasks. There's nobody here at the store. You don't really need me. Can I leave early? And my manager, like, you know, the supervisor was arguing with me. She was giving me basically an attitude. And she says to me, she's like, you know what? Fine, go. You know, we don't really need you here right now. You can leave for the day. And I ended up going. And then after I left, she started talking trash about me behind my back and started talking to my coworker. So like my coworker there, he ended up telling me about, like, he told me later on what she said. But she was apparently saying like, oh, you know, he's lying. He just doesn't feel like working. He doesn't want to work today. He's not really going to mass. Like it was like that. Like that made me pissed that she said that stuff like behind my back. But I never confronted her on that. Like I knew that she was talking trash, but I never really directly confronted on her on that. She was like, you know, rude and nasty to me and stuff like that. So that's what I'll say about that. Is I know it took a few minutes for me to answer your question, but that's basically my response to people talking trash. Is for when people talk trash behind my back, for the most part, I ignore it. I don't really get involved in the drama. I don't get involved in that stuff. I say if people want to be stupid, let them be stupid. If people want to be stupid, you know, do that stuff. You know, the thing is, and let me see. I think I got another comment here. Oh, professional. I think what happens in YouTube in general, when after GTA 6 comes out, the clickbaiters upload fake GTA 7 leaks. No, Sam, thank you for the super chat, but Sam, they're not going to do GTA 7 clickbait when GTA 6 comes out. You know what they're going to do? They're going to do a GTA 6 online clickbait. That's what they're going to do. They're going to just start speculating about GTA 6 online because it's not going to launch with the default game, and they're going to speculate about GTA 6 single player DLC. They're going to be like, oh, Jason and Lucia prequel and, you know, all of this other stuff. Like, you know, maybe play as Raul DLC. Like, you know, they're going to do stuff like that, Sam. That's essentially what they're going to do. Thank you for the super chat. I will say, let me see. Hang on. What did you say, Blinded Eagle? Let me look at your comment. She's literally had an attitude when talking to the customers multiple times. She's got told to chill, and she tells managers what to do as if she's hovering. Well, yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Is that how do I explain this one? Let me think how to word this exactly. Is there is one thing that I realized in retail when I worked in retail for a number of years. Do you know what I realized in retail working for a number of years? The people that work like really hard in retail, the people that push themselves and go above and beyond, do you know how they're rewarded? They're rewarded with more work. They're not rewarded with a raise or a bonus or anything. They're just rewarded with more work. And what happens is the managers will constantly get on that person's case. Like the person who's like working hard, they'll get on that person's case. They'll stress them out. They'll yell at them. But then the people that are lazy, the people that are doing nothing, managers never go after them because the managers know those people don't work. The managers know those people don't do anything. And I will tell you, sometimes some of these managers, a lot of times they have no balls. Like they don't have the balls to like fire these people. They really don't. So like literally, it's like, honestly, I've seen so many bad workers in retail, like so many people that deserve to get fired, like really bad workers. And like the managers never fire them. The only time that I have ever seen people get fired in retail is when they steal. That's it. I've seen coworkers have stolen. Like people have gotten fired at my job for that, but I've never seen anybody actually get fired for being a scumbag or for being lazy or for not showing up to work. Like I've never had stuff like people get fired for that. It's only when they're stealing that they ever get fired. Have I watched Superstore? No, but people have told me I should. When's my next Assassin's Creed video? This week coming up. Tomorrow will be the ending of True Crime. So True Crime, I'll have the ending of it tomorrow. Do you know what, do you know one thing that I got, pretty pissed off about once? Is about that, and I'm actually surprised that your managers give you bonuses when you guys do really good, Blinded Eagle. We didn't have any of that. I will tell you, when we hit budget in my store. When my managers, like, there was like a specific goal that they had, and when they made more revenue than they were supposed to, like they hit more than their budget, like they just made much more money than that, like they would always, like, the managers would always get so excited. Like I remember the managers were always so happy. It's like, oh yeah, we made more than we were supposed to. Like they would just get so happy about that, celebrate about that. And like one time I said to the manager, like I was eating in the office with the manager, and the manager said like, yeah, we did it, we made budget, we made more money this quarter. And I said to my manager, I was like, are we getting a bonus? Like, I literally said that to my manager. And my manager was, like, shocked that I said that. And he turned around and he said to me, like, no, you guys get more hours. And, like, I was just, like, dumbfounded. And then he said to me, he's like, what, you don't want more hours? And I said to him, no, I don't want more hours. And he was, like, so shocked when I said that to him. So, like, I said I don't want more hours. Like, I don't want to work more. Like, it's like... Literally, it's like I was going to school and I was doing a YouTube channel at the same time too. So it's like, oh yeah, you get your reward. You know what you get your reward? You get to work more. That's what you get your reward. It's like, no, I don't care if I'm making more money. I don't feel like working more. It's like, give me a bonus for the time that I'm already working extra. Like, you know, that. It's like the fact that he thought I was gonna be happy that I got more hours. Like, that was, I don't know, like, how he thought that I was actually gonna be happy about that. Like, I don't know what was going through his head. How do you know if a manager likes you? The tasks that they give you. The tasks they give you, the jobs they give you. Whether, I guess also the shifts that they put you on, too. Thank you, Alien. Hey, Professional. I've been enjoying your videos, and I've been enjoying your GTA videos. When is your next videos coming out? When is your next Assassin's Creed video? Have a good stream. Thank you, Mitchell. I will have the next part of True Crime up tomorrow, the ending, and then probably on Sunday or Monday, I'll have the, I will have the next part of Assassin's Creed. I'll have that up. Thank you, Mitchell, for the super chat. Your manager should be uninvited by Rhonda. Oh, thank you, Mario. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. I'm wearing Duns for quitting the court center heist. Oh, really? You got that? Yeah, so, like... That was it. I got that notification the other day that I could get put in a bad sport lobby because I left my own heist. Like, literally, I was... And me and my friends, we wanted to restart. We just wanted to restart stealth. And, Did that supervisor of yours get fired? No, she went to work in another store.
Some ideas.
Okay, we got 3 bottles. It's about to finish producing in a little bit here. I haven't really played much story mode, no. I'll be doing Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway in September for the anniversary of Market Garden.
Word is, you're quite the hero.
How is leaving the court center heist considered a bad sport? I have no idea. That's what Rockstar does. I wonder, do you get bad sport points if you leave your own solo heist? Do you get that too, or not? Okay, yeah, just leave me a comment, OGBWE member, and I can follow you back. Leave me a comment under my last tweet. So let me get this straight. You get bad sport points if you leave your own solo heist? Are you kidding me? It's your own heist. It's like there's nobody else in there. Like, why would you get bad sport points for that? That's stupid. That's stupid. And guys, I'm going crazy with something. Can somebody tell me the answer to this? Because I'm gonna make another guide in the court center soon. But if anybody knows the answer to this, I'd really appreciate this. Does anybody know if you get detected before you swap out the primary painting, like if you just trip the alarm before you swap out the primary painting, does that lower your overall amount of money that you get from the heist? Because I think it does. I'm not 100% certain on that, but does that? Like, if you get detected before you switch out the painting, does that lower the value of the painting? I know you have to wipe the camera footage too, but does that still, like, lower the value of your total heist, even if you wipe the footage? Does anybody know the answer to that?
So, what shall we create?
It does? Yeah. You know the thing about this is that I've done what's it called? I've done videos on the heist, and the videos that I've done on the heist, they've gotten some views, but they haven't gotten as many views as the videos that I had ranting about the heist, like the videos I ranted about the heist. So like I can tell that people are not enjoying this DLC. I can tell. Like just because like the videos that of like just ranting about the DLC are way more popular than the videos of just doing guides in the DLC. Do you believe there are some pirates who buried treasure, gold, and silver precious stones like William Kidd did? Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like I should tell my boss that she crap talks behind our back in an attempt to get, or crap talk behind her back in an attempt to get her fired, because pretty much none of us like her. Is that a good idea? I mean, you can do that, but chances are your coworker is going to find out you did it. Like, if you make an accusation like that, your coworker is probably going to find out you did it. And also, on top of that, make sure that you are 100% sure of what you are accusing this person of. That's the other thing I'll tell you on that Blind Eagle.
J'attends votre inspiration.
Yeah, I can tell my manager likes me, since we get along just fine, especially when my AS assistant manager tells me she tries to avoid him. It's probably because she didn't like that he took 3 weeks of vacation. Okay, alien. Well, you know, if you have a good manager, at least in retail, at least I will say that will help make the experience a little bit better. I'll say on that. It will, when you have, like, good management, at least that will, like, help the experience better. But also, one other tip that I can give you guys. If anybody ever works in a job where you deal with customers, it doesn't have to be retail. If you work in any kind of job that deals with customers, mechanic shop, you know, retail, you know, even food, the best way to tell if you have a good manager or not in any kind of those environments is to see how your manager reacts when you get severely mistreated by a customer. Like, because if there's a customer that disrespects you and treats you, like, really bad, like, really, really bad, and your manager, when they arrive, they don't stand up for you, and instead they start apologizing to the customer, and they say to the customer, oh, I'm sorry, sir, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, you know, here's a coupon, or here's a discount on your next order, and stuff like that. If you have a manager that does that, that's a terrible manager who does not respect you, does not care about you at all. A good manager will take your side and say, hey, you know, sir, ma'am, you cannot talk to my employees like that. You treat them with respect. If you have a manager that says that to the customer that's disrespecting you, that's a good manager that you want to stay with. But if you have a manager that starts apologizing to the customer and just gives them like a coupon, says, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, here's like something for your next, you know, trip and stuff like that, that is not a good manager. That is not somebody that you want to work for. Try to get out of that job as soon as you can if you have that experience with a manager. That tells you it's a really bad boss. I played the new heist. I thought it would be pretty good, but it turns out to be bad. The setup heist was $100,000, and the payouts are less than $500. Yep, that is true. It's absolutely terrible payout. Thank you, Sam Lawson. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, Professional, would you be interested in Blood of the Dawnwalker when it comes out? It's an open world game, right? But the thing about the Blood of the Dawnwalker is Blood of the Dawnwalker is like a weird thing with the story. It's kind of similar to Dead Rising, like the old Dead Rising games. Like, you know, the old Dead Rising games, like when there's time, you know, proceeding, it's the exact same thing in Blood of the Dawnwalker. Like, there's side quests that you can do, but there's also time proceeding, and you have to like complete the main quest before the time is up, or else like you're gonna get the bad ending. So like that's one thing I found kind of weird about that game. Like, I haven't seen a game do that feature like since like Dead Rising. And thank you, Mitchell and Sam. I don't know about that attitude with her. I think she does both, probably because she just doesn't want to fight the customer, but she doesn't blame us. Well, I think that a good manager personally, Alien, will stand up for you. That's what I'll say. Did you hear about the Fallout 3 and New Vegas is getting remastered? And no, it's not those dumb clickbait videos. It's a post by Bethesda saying that Fallout 5 as well as after Elder Scrolls 6. Look, as much as I love, Fallout, I want a new Elder Scrolls game. That's what I want right now. I'd rather have Elder Scrolls 6 instead of Fallout. Because we've gotten already 2 Fallout games. We've gotten Fallout, 4 and Fallout 76 since Skyrim. So I want a new Elder Scrolls game. I want a new one. I want literally Elder Scrolls 6. That's what I want. So, and as for the Fallout remasters, I'm really excited for that. I will do a playthrough of Fallout 3 remaster, but when I do that, I'm going to do an evil playthrough. Like, I'm just going to be a total scumbag. Like, I'm going to be, you know what I'm going to call it? I'm going to call it Fallout 3 Evil Psychopath playthrough. That's what I'm going to call the playthrough. Like, I'm just going to do all the worst things possible throughout the story. Like, it's just trying to be as evil as possible. It's going to be a really funny playthrough. Anybody who likes to laugh, you'll probably enjoy my Fallout 3 playthrough when I do, like, the Evil Karma playthrough when the remake comes out. Like, that'll be, that'll be a bit of fun. We'll do that, and I'm gonna mess around a lot when I do the evil playthrough. I'm not personally a funny guy, but a lot of times people say that I'm unintentionally funny, so that'll I think people will like that playthrough a lot when I do it. And I'm also excited for the Fallout New Vegas remake, and also the Fallout 5 whenever that comes out. I've never been mistreated, so I don't know. If that ever happens to you, Alien, just keep in mind how your manager react when you're being mistreated by a customer.
I was wondering when you were going to get here.
Hunter, I'm still gonna do the other playthroughs, like the Point Lookout, Operation Anchorage, and stuff like that.
I found a buyer who will appreciate it, and most important, they will pay for it too. Now,
Can you pick up the MG42 gunner in that game?
attentif, eh? Seigneur, ayez pitié.
No, I haven't pre-ordered a new Wolverine game yet. What's the most ridiculous policy of the Confederacy? Well, literally the entire thing. The whole purpose of the Confederacy, it was basically created as a country in order to preserve slavery. Like, that was the whole purpose of the Confederacy. There are people out there that say that it was over states' rights, but they can never explain exactly what states' rights. If you read the Confederate Constitution, as well as each of their state constitutions, it clearly outlines slavery as the reason for seceding from the Union. And so slavery, the whole idea of the country itself is ridiculous. But if you're talking about just in general policies, like the most ridiculous policy of the Confederacy, there was a policy in the Confederate Army, because the Confederates did have a draft. They did. A lot of times people think that the Union was the only one who drafted. No, the Confederacy drafted their soldiers as well. During the Civil War, there was a policy where if you had 10 or more slaves, you were exempt from the Confederate draft. So if you had a certain number of slaves, you could not be drafted into the Confederate Army. The Union had a similar policy, but it wasn't concerning slaves. It was more concerning wealth. So, like, if you were rich and you paid, like, a specific tax, you would not get drafted into the Union. So, like, both countries had it to a degree, but the Confederacy, it was specifically, if you had a number of slaves, you would not be drafted. What are the NPCs here doing? Okay, well, I'm going now here. My super chat about how strange Dan Houser is in terms of behavior. I don't know. Like, I know he left, like, Rockstar, like, a couple years ago, but... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Gunner, do the Fallschirmjägers, and the SS make an appearance in Hell's Highway again, too? Who, Aaron? What character in The Sopranos? What's the dumbest thing the Turkmenistani regime has done? Oh, that's easy. The dumbest thing the Turkmenistan dictatorship did, it was the second dictator before the last one. So like the one that's ruling right now is the dictator's son, and then there was the other dictator, his dad before that, but before him, the other dictator, the first one, the first dictator of the country. I don't know if it's still the policy of Turkmenistan, but what the dictator of Turkmenistan did is he closed all of the hospitals that were not in the capital, Ashgabat. So Ashgabat is the capital of Turkmenistan. He closed all of the hospitals outside of the capital, like all of them. Like he did not allow any hospitals in any other city. He didn't allow hospitals in the countryside. And when he was asked why he closed all the hospitals, he said that it's a waste of money. He said if people want treatment, they should go to the capital. He said it's a waste of money to have hospitals outside of the city. But what if somebody lives like 100 miles from the city? Like, literally, that's one of the stupidest things ever. And now you have to drive how many miles to get to the hospital? How many people did he kill with that policy alone? Stupidest thing I've ever heard. Hospitals are a waste of money. And so he just closed all the hospitals not in the capital. Complete dumbass, excuse my language. Like, oh my god. Like, I cannot believe there's dumb people like this. Turkmenistan doesn't get talked about much because it has natural gas. That's true. And it's also a neutral country. It's one of the most brutal dictatorships in the world. Do you have a crazy current events video you can come up with? Yeah, I wanted to talk about that guy. I know it's happened like a week ago, but it was that guy who had gotten, there was this guy who broke into a Verizon store. Maybe somebody here heard about this story. And he, as the guy broke into the Verizon store, he stole a bunch of phones and computers and other things from the store. As he was leaving, somebody stole his car, like a completely different person. So like the burglar parked his car right next to the Verizon store as he was breaking in the middle of the night, and he left his keys in the car running, and then somebody went over and just stole his car, like in the middle of the burglary. And then you know what the burglar did? The burglar sat there at the scene of the crime, and then he called up the police, and he said, my car's been stolen, right where Verizon had been burglarized. And the police like asked to see his hands, and they see his hands are cut because he broke in through the glass, through the window, and they arrested him, like on the spot there. Like the dumbest criminal I think I've seen. Like that was just, it was a video on YouTube. You can watch it. It's like, look up video like criminal burglar calls the police after his car gets stolen. It happened only like a week ago. Oh, I think I just killed a target. Oh, well.
You won't live through this.
The Turkmenistan dictator is now on the geek list. Oh, thank you, Mario.
Enjoy your last moments alive.
Let me see. Alien left a comment here. So far, she's cool. It was her birthday yesterday. I got her a cheesecake. She smiled and said, "You guys are trying to kill me." She's
Any regrets?
diabetic. So yeah. Oh. Thank you for the super chat, Alien. But it does seem like you have a nice boss that generally like cares about you and the other workers. If you have a good boss that has your back, you should stay there at least for some time. Because whenever you get a job, it's always a roll of the dice, whether you're gonna have a scumbag or not as your boss. And also, guys, never think that interviews will let you see what a person is like. I got interviewed by my boss the first time, and I thought he was a nice guy from the interview, and when I started working with him, I realized what a total scumbag he was. Well, Kenny Petrovich and Travis Baker be pretty even because they both controlled huge parts of their cities. I'm referring to Don Hauser, the character in The Sopranos who was Metal's coach. Oh, that guy, the coach. That guy was like a rapist. If I remember correctly. Like it's been some time since I watched season 1. But didn't the coach in The Sopranos didn't he rape a girl? Or am I thinking of another character in The Sopranos? I think it was the coach, was it not? And I remember like Tony was gonna kill him. I think it was Tony was planning on killing him. I think it was. Oh hey, Jam, Ghost Trick playthrough when? I have a few games coming up, but I could eventually do it too. My previous manager was bad. Everybody hated him. Well, it's good that you don't work with him anymore. He's gone. You need to refill your stamina core, Pat. I know. Did you see the video of the guy who got hit by a bison? Yes, he went flying, didn't he? I saw that one. Has anyone played the Sherlock Holmes games? I have. I played The Testament of Sherlock Holmes. I played Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. I played Sherlock Holmes The Devil's Daughter. Mercenaries was a great game. Hey, Infinity Daniel, how are you doing, dude? Thank you for the super chat.
All right here, folks.
I don't know, Hamzat, if,
Good to see you back.
if it's the largest one, Okay, Gunner.
Oh, hello again. Never too soon, huh?
Is it on console, also, Jim? Have I played Murdered Soul Suspect? No, I know it's a detective game where, like, your character dies and you play as a ghost solving your own murder. It's okay, Dongus. What's your question? Yeah, but someone probably buried treasure somewhere. Somewhere, Vanny. I will do True Crime Streets in New York also, yeah. You know, the next Brothers in Arms game, they're probably gonna do it in crap, the Battle of the Bulge. That's probably what they're gonna do next. But Gunnar, I got a question for you. Does Axis Sally appear in Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway? Because I know she's in the commercial. Like, in the commercial, she's in there. Where she's on the radio, like, mocking American soldiers. But, like, can you actually hear her on the radio in the game? Or is she only in the commercial? What's up, Sagesta?
So I heard that last thing you did for me went pretty smooth.
Let's see here. Destroy supplies, do that. I'll do Vice City stories for the 20th anniversary.
Used to be just Watson's here. Watson's and Bears. And then the Russells showed up. And then the Mahonies. And that's a bridge too far. You gonna send them clodhoppers on their way, ain't you? They got all their goods piled up in Little Creek. You go over there and clear them out. Watson's will make you right.
Does Hell's Highway have that same thing that, like, the other Brothers in Arms games had, where they show you, like, the history of the guns and stuff like that? Did they also have that, Gunner, in the game? I'll play True Crime New York. Is True Crime New York better than True Crime LA? Whoa, what the... Are the collectibles easy to find, Gunner?
I'm gonna put you down, woman.
Okay, so it's almost impossible to miss them then, Gunner. Can I play the carpet? What? It was Tony's psychiatrist that got assaulted. By the way, YouTube censorship is crazy. I'm pretty sure Gilly's chat, you can't put Rockstar to shorten Rockstar. What? Oh. Thank you, Alien. No, Alien, I remember that Tony's psychiatrist got assaulted in The Sopranos, but I'm not just talking about that. Like, the soccer coach, it was like in season 1. Wasn't the soccer coach in season 1 a rapist? Like, he was originally gonna get, like, a job at another school, I think, and then they found out later on that he had raped some girl. Am I thinking of the right character? Because I remember Tony tried to kill him, and I think it was over that, and then Artie was trying to tell him not to. I think that's what... Oh, okay, so he was visionary, so I was right on that then. Hey, Professional, would you be interested in playing Assassin's Creed the Ezio Collection after you finish with Black Flag? If I might want to play Rogue after I finish Black Flag, because it would chronologically be right after. But, what is it, yeah, so maybe Rogue afterwards. But I think I might do Ace Combat 4, actually, Mitchell. What's my favorite Manhunt, series Hunter faction, and what's your idea for Manhunt 3? My favorite faction that you fought against in Manhunt 1 was probably the militia in Manhunt 1. The War Dogs, I think they were called. My idea for Manhunt 3 would be to set it in Alaska. That would be to set it there. I think that Alaska would actually be a pretty good setting for a Manhunt game. Don't you guys think so? I think it would be. Not to sound biased, but 1 month do you think, hypothetically, Rockstar will drop GTA 6 gameplay or trailer 3? Well, I can answer your question with 100% certainty, Ulix. Thank you for the super chat. Rockstar is going to drop a trailer for GTA 6, the next one, between now and September 22nd. That is when they are going to drop. How am I so sure? Because Strauss Zelnick said multiple times that marketing will begin in summer. We're in summer, and we're actually pretty deep into summer right now. We're halfway through July at this point. And so we got a little bit over 60 days left of summer, so about 2 months. So within the next 2 months, you will see a GTA 6 trailer 3, 100%. There's no doubt about that. And I don't think there's going to be any teaser for it or anything. I think it's just going to randomly drop. That's what I think is going to happen. Rockstar's going to randomly drop it out of nowhere. I don't think there's going to be an announcement or anything for it. I think it's just going to come out of nowhere. Can you play the Scarface game? I've played it 2 times already. I'll do a playthrough of it again for the 20th anniversary, probably. I think he was the king when the Great Northern War was going on, wasn't he, Gunner? Thoughts on the theories that Phil might have done 20 years in the can? He compromised. He definitely compromised. You bought yourself a BB gun a while ago. What kind of BB gun? I still gotta see that Young Washington movie. I really want to go see that movie, but I just haven't had the time for this update. I'm probably gonna go next week. Hopefully it's still in theaters next week. Have I watched the Odyssey movie? No. Brother, everything that could have gone wrong in the heist went wrong. They did nothing we wanted, and if they did it, it got ruined. They did all wrong. Yep. My videos prove it. Like, my videos where I complained about the problems in this heist have gotten way more videos than my guides on this heist. A pistol modeled after the Glock, huh? I fired a real life Glock a few times before, but to be honest, I never really liked the Glock. I was never a fan of it. I guess I didn't like the trigger on the Glock. I fired a 1911 once, and the 1911 is probably my favorite handgun that I've ever fired. I like the handling of the 1911. I also like the trigger. The trigger I liked way more in the 1911 than the Glock. I thought that the 1911 was gonna have insane recoil when I fired it, but it actually wasn't that bad. So I can see why the U.S. used it in both World Wars. If you're president of the United States, would you have a high-speed rail system? Yes, that's one thing I would love to build. I think that America should have a high-speed rail system. I don't know why we don't. By the way, it's stupid that no one gets alerted, no alarm goes off, no one even knows where you were there, and the cops still show up. No rewards for stealth. Yeah. Yeah. It is. I agree with you there, Alien. The cops shouldn't be showing up if it's if you did everything quietly. It's insane that we are closer to the release of GTA 6 than we are to the release of mansions in GTA Online. Oh yeah, you're true. You're right on that. And I can't even believe that it's already like July 17, because it's I remember 4th of July like it was only a couple days ago, but that was like what, 13 days ago now. Lose the cops doesn't have to be in every mission. I agree with you, Alien, yeah. The most evil faction in both Last of Us games. In the first one, it will be the cannibals. In the second game, I don't know. Maybe the slavers at the end of the game. What do you think of Oliver Cromwell? Wasn't he that guy who fought in the English Civil War? When am I posting the Court Center heist other, you mean other approaches on Saturday? Probably tomorrow I'll post an approach. The final part of True Crime will be tomorrow. I'm not sure, Gunner. I think he did. Yeah, I couldn't find any Revolutionary War servers on the 4th of July event. That's what really sucked. I think blue whales are the largest animal. Well, Slovakia collaborated with Nazi Germany during World War II. They were one of Germany's allies during the war. I mean, they had lose Isaac's crew in GTA 4, or like avoiding Dutch during the final Red Dead Redemption 2 mission as Arthur. Anything other than cops would be fun. I think like so many missions use that formula where you have to like lose the cops or lose the enemies chasing you. Thank you, Alien. The cops in GTA Online must be superhuman. They are at this point, pretty much. Damn, I'm gonna go all in. Let's see if they take the bet. The collaborators with Japan in World War, the Chinese collaborators with Japan in World War II were actually the monarchy. The Chinese monarchy collaborated with them. The nationalists and the communists didn't really collaborate with them, but the monarchy did. Yeah, lost that one. Okay. I'm gonna head out here, guys. I know I'm finishing the stream a little early today, but I'm just getting kind of hungry here. I haven't had dinner yet. I've just been exhausted like covering this DLC. I'll stick around for 1 minute and answer a few questions if anybody has any for me. Imagine that people got so tired of cops they will do anything to avoid seeing the dreaded "lose the cops" text, and Rockstar wants you to have cops in GTA Online. Yeah, I hate when you can't call Lester during certain missions. I don't know why that's locked. Thank you, Alien. You should be able to call Lester on every mission that involves cops. It's okay, Zach. Saddest moment in The Sopranos? I don't know, I'd have to, One thing I felt like a scene that I felt really bad for Hesh, like what Hesh went through at the end. Next lore video, it's gonna be the Nong Boys, and I'm sorry I keep delaying that video, but this update just made me so busy, guys. Yes, Brandon, we can do it on Sunday. So I'll be heading out here, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for watching the stream. If you guys enjoyed the stream today, do drop a like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.